He trusted the nanny completely, until he saw the security footage. The character of Evelyn Carter was more than simply an employee in David Finch's eyes. She was a member of the family. She had been with them for 7 years, first taking care of infant Chloe, and now leading the bright and vibrant 7-year-old through her schoolwork and the heartaches that she was experiencing. Chloe's favorite dinosaur, the Stegosaurus, her irrational phobia of ceiling fans, and the exact quantity of honey that should be added to her chamomile tea were all things that Evelyn was well aware of. In particular, ever since Sarah had passed away 2 years earlier, her calm presence had been the foundation of their hectic life. She came before dawn, remained late without making any complaints, and she was always there. Indeed, David had complete faith in her. The keys, the alarm codes, and unrestricted access to every nook and cranny of their contemporary and minimalist house were all provided to her by him. What about the covert surveillance cameras? This is a vestige of paranoia from the post-Sarah days, and it is seldom challenged. Evelyn was the security guard. It is till Tuesday evening, while Chloe had been absent. In a more subdued manner than normal, she clung to David's knee and refused to eat her preferred spaghetti. "Just tired, Daddy," she whispered as she buried her face in his shirt. "I love you so much." Evelyn conveyed that she had experienced a perfectly normal day, and her sweet smile was encouraging. However, David's stomach was filled with a little seed of disquiet that was both unreasonable and unwanted. He was unable to fall asleep and found himself at his home office, which was only faintly lighted at 2:17 a.m. Shadows that were long and skeletal were cast by the illumination of his monitors. He opened the security gateway on a whim, but it was motivated by the lingering unease that he was experiencing. When he went back to 4 p.m., right after he had departed for his meeting, he picked the camera that was located in the living room, which was the most important room in their house. He saw Evelyn, who was as productive as she usually was, washing the dishes for lunch. Chloe was completely absorbed in her tablet as she sat on the rug. It's routine. He skipped forward in time. Leisure time. It is time for reading. It is time for a snack around 5:30 o'clock. Although she seemed down, Chloe was engaged. David let out a sigh and reprimanded himself for the uncertainty. At the same moment that he was ready to log out, he saw a timestamp that read 6:02 p.m. While Chloe was out of sight, the stream showed her making her way towards the powder room located below. Evelyn, who was sitting on the couch, continued to check her phone. As for the movement, then, it wasn't made obvious. No, not at first. Evelyn rose up and stretched her legs in a nonchalant manner, but her eyes were no longer focused on her phone. A keen, predatory vigilance that David had never seen before was shown by them as they examined the room, including the hallway that led to the bathroom, the front door, and the entry to the kitchen. The quiet of a hawk flying over a field was what it was. Approaching the entrance to the hall, she proceeded in the direction of Chloe's abandoned bag. Not to clean it up, but to put it to use. Evelyn squatted down quickly and kept her silence. As the blood began to pour from David's face, he continued to lean closer. She reached into her own cardigan pocket and pulled out something that was little, black, and rectangular. David would not have believed that the pocket could store more than a tissue. In no way was it a phone. It was more substantial and thicker. What about a burner phone? A gadget that is specialized? She slid it into a side pocket of Chloe's bag, which was tucked behind a crumpled worksheet, with the ease that comes with years of experience. Chloe came from the restroom a few seconds later, completely unaware of what had already occurred. The moment Evelyn straightened her back, her face immediately returned to its warm, comforting, and reassuring appearance. "Are you ready, my darling? Does your puzzle have you ready?" As her voice was played via the speakers in the office, it was as sweet as honey. David became completely numb. The room began to tilt. The germ of uneasiness has the potential to blossom into a suffocating vine of fear. What exactly was that apparatus? What is the purpose of concealing it in Chloe's bag? Have you been tracking? Do you record? A more serious issue? Each and every rationale fell apart. There was no case of forgetfulness or an item that was misplaced. It was a covert operation, consciously done. Other cameras were being hastily inspected by him. Within a few minutes, the hallway stream showed Evelyn guiding Chloe in the direction of the playroom setting. Nevertheless, David rewinded the story and focused on the bag incident, one frame at a time. The sneaky gaze, the uncanny smoothness of her movement, and the purposeful concealment were all things that he observed once again. Moreover, one more particular. Evelyn's hand came into contact with the bottom of the console table that was located close to the hallway as she stood. Is it a little touch? Is it possible that she also left anything there? A flash of silver that is so minute that it is barely unseen? What about a micro camera? Is it a receiver? It was as if his mind was racing, connecting links that he had no idea existed. Recent clinginess on Chloe's part. Her vague complaints of tummy aches that always appeared to correspond with Evelyn bringing her to the den, which was quieter and did not have cameras for calm-down time. Did you think that was a cover? Have there been any additional devices? More manipulations, perhaps? It wasn't simply that the trust was destroyed. It was completely evaporated, and in its stead was a terrifying nothingness. Evelyn was not only concealing anything, rather she was using his kid, his fragile young daughter, as a messenger or a pawn in her operations. To what end? With whom was she having this conversation? Was Chloe the target of an urgent threat, or was she a participant in a more complex and lengthy game? David decided not to contact the authorities. Not at this time. For this, stealth and accuracy were essential. It was necessary for him to have proof and context. If he was going to take action, he needed to know the reason why. His hands were shaking as he separated the film, encrypted it, and then stored it to a disk that was concealed behind the corner. Next, he accessed the logs for the home automation system. What was the last time Evelyn had been downstairs by herself? Until what point? Was she able to draw patterns? Another thing that he observed was that the video feed in the living room has been experiencing a few small issues over the course of the preceding 2 weeks. The signal dips were quite brief and lasted exactly 1.2 seconds, around 6 o'clock every time. Is it a coincidence? Is it intentional interference? In the past, Evelyn had indicated that she had worked in the field of technical assistance for a short period of time. Was it a falsehood on your part? David watched at the picture that had frozen on his screen. Evelyn's face, caught in the middle of a turn, her expression calm and unruffled, which was completely in contrast to the deed that he had just seen. A ghost was roaming around his house, hiding invisible dangers in his daughter's innocent items. The lady he had trusted with his most precious treasure turned out to be none other than an imposter. The terror and rage that he felt in his heart caused him to gaze in the direction of Chloe's room. At 6:30 in the morning, Evelyn would return. There were less than 4 hours left. It took him 4 hours to go from being a parent who trusted his children to being a hunter in his own house. It was necessary for him to have an understanding of what that gadget was, who it was linked to, and what Evelyn Carter's goal was with regard to his daughter. We were counting every second. The surveillance video had not only broken his trust, but it had also thrust him into a quiet and terrible struggle for Chloe's protection, which he had waged in the shadows of his own house, which was well watched. The smart house, which he considered to be his castle, suddenly seemed to him as if it were a cage made of gold. The person who kept the keys was the adversary who was inside. While David was closing the tape, the illumination of the monitor reflected the icy resolve that was becoming more pronounced in his gaze. Sleep was no longer a possibility. Now the quest had started.